health care. You need to give some very definite consideration to what you're going to do about your health care. Oh, my goodness. I talked with some doctors just in the past few days, and you ready for the statistics? Now, many of you will remember I came on Dr. Stan's program just before the health care bill was passed. Dr. Stan, you'll remember this. I said it right here over your show. One day I was on the phone with Mr. Fromm, and I said, Ken, what do you think about this health care thing? It had not even been going through Congress yet. And he said, Chaplain, this is not a health care bill. And I said, what? It's not a health care bill? Well, nobody had read it, no congressman. He said, no, this is not a health care bill. He knew what was in it. He said, Chaplain, this is not a health care bill. I said, what is it? He said, Chaplain, this is total control. And I couldn't understand until after the bill was passed and people began to take it apart segment by segment, and I came to realize this is not about health care at all. This is about total control of the population of the United States of America. Just in the last day or two, I was on the phone with some doctors, and one of them said to me, he said, Chaplain, the latest figures are, you folks, you ready? You better make some preparations for your health care needs. He said, Chaplain, 40% of the doctors in the United States, is this startling? I mean, are you grasping this? He said, Chaplain, 40% of the doctors of the United States of America are quitting if Obamacare health care goes through. He said they can't make it. The government will dictate to them what to do, what prices to charge. He said 40%. He said the old-timers are all retiring. He said many of the young ones are stepping out. 40% of the doctors and the dentists and the nurses of the United States of America. Can you imagine what shambles our health care system is going to be in? Now, this doctor, he is a doctor. I could give his name, but I won't over the air. I have it right here in front of me. He said, Chaplain, I have in my office a little gadget about the size of a cell phone. I said, what? He said, it's about the size of a cell phone, and he said, it is direct from my office to Homeland Security. He said, I have already been told. He said, this is a very prominent doctor in the northeastern part of the United States of America. Folks, I'm not joking with you. I talked with him on the phone yesterday. He said, I have this thing in my hand. He said, we have already been told that if we have, after Obamacare goes in, we have a patient sitting in our office, and we have decided what's wrong with them. And he said, we will punch into this little machine what we found as our diagnosis for this patient. He said it instantaneously goes to Washington or wherever Homeland Security office is, and he said they in turn, on the spot, will send us back a required what we must do for this patient, what we must give them, what drug we must give them, what we must do with them. And he said they have the patient's records, they have their age, they have everything. And he said we type it in, and while the patient is still sitting there, he said oftentimes they won't even know what's happening. And he said in turn they tell us what we're supposed to do. And he said I asked Homeland Security when I was given this machine. He said I asked them, suppose I, as a doctor, been in business for over 20 years. He said suppose I know that your diagnosis of what should be done for this patient is not correct. He said it doesn't matter. You'll have to do it anyway. He said, suppose I don't, because I care for my patients. He said it will be a $5,000 fine instantaneously if you do not do what you're told through that little machine that you have in your hand. And he said, what will happen if I do it the second time? And they said, you will be put in jail. Dr. Stan, when I heard this the other day, I went back to what Mr. Fromm told me back 2.5 years ago when he said, Chaplain, this is not a health care bill. He said, this is total control. This is euthanasia. This is the name of the game is control. Folks, we must stop the elite from what they're doing.
But of course, people have to understand that they feel there are too many people in the world, and so they die. Who are you going to be critical of? Are you going to sue the government? The doctor's going to do what he's told to do. He has no alternative. Either that or quit, and that is why so many are going to quit. I've heard the same thing from other doctors, and actually the first time it's a large fine. The second time they put you in prison. Why? because you did not treat the patient exactly as you were told, even though it may very well end up doing irreparable damage or even kill the patient. You no longer will have a doctor. It will all be managed. Ladies and gentlemen, are you concerned? Could this really happen in America? Of course it could. I mean, men and women become accomplices to the evils they fail to oppose.